Hello and welcome to Your Stocks in the Mumbai News Studio. I'm Ekta Batra. Well, it's turning out to be a session where we're largely consolidating, you'd have to say, but the Bank Nifty is in a world of its own. It's outperforming with the Bank Nifty up around 2% at this point in time. We have a lot of queries to answer today in the next 30 odd minutes. Let's get going on that. We have Rajat Bose, who's joining in on the technicals. Asta Jain, who is here to talk about all the fundamentals in terms of all of our queries. Asta as well as Rajat, welcome to the show. Well, before we kick off the show, Rajat, wanted your thoughts in terms of the overall texture of the market today. We have a lot of the financials which are doing well. What does that tell you, and what kind of call are you taking on it?
First of all, see, the Bank Nifty is nearly 1,000 points up. A little earlier, it was more than 1,000 points. Now it is 950 points up. Probably the weekly options clearing for Bank Nifty, and that's why this kind of, there might have been a lot of short positions. But apart from just talking about short positions in the Bank Nifty, I would say that the leader among the banks, that is HDFC Bank, I have not seen in the recent past it is up by nearly 3%. That might have actually had a big role to play in the Bank Nifty doing so well. Once it has crossed 1650, 1648 resistance level, if it were to sustain, HDFC Bank can move further up, and that way it can pull up the Bank Nifty. Even others like ICICI Bank, even a bank like IDFC First, that is also doing pretty well. So banks are where the action is. On the other hand, when you look at the Nifty, it is in the morning, there was a time when it was 100 points down. But now it is actually very flat. But one thing you must remember that once the Nifty crosses 23,700, then there is every possibility that 24,000 mark might also be scaled. My target will be 24,100 to about 24,150. That is the kind of range that I'm looking at the moment. So as of now, Nifty is flat, but no way there is any kind of a sell signal. While the Bank Nifty, if it manages to cross 51,800, then it would be another blue sky territory till about 53,000.
Oh, okay. All right. So maybe there could be a blue sky territory up till 53,000 for the Bank Nifty. So let's see whether that takes place. Let's get in some queries now. We do have quite a lot of questions coming in from the broader markets especially. We have S. Jaykumar, who writes to us from Tamil Nadu. He holds 1,25,000 shares of Suzlon, which he's bought at 8.65 rupees per share. Long-term investor wants to know what to do, whether he should book his profits or stay invested. Well, not every day do we see such huge gains or somebody sitting with such huge gains and asking about what they should do with their investments. Well, 50 lakh rupees is what his profit is currently in terms of what his investment was on Suzlon. So he got in on the right time and really waited it out. But Asta, let's go with you first. What would you recommend what would you recommend on Suzlon? Do you think that one should probably take some profits at these levels or stay on?
Hi, good afternoon to both of you. Talking about Suzlon, I think one should remain invested in the counter for the price target of 53 to 55. The reason why we are positive about this counter, first of all, Suzlon is a market leader in WTG, that is wind turbine generator, with a 30% market share. So being a market leader, they have certain technological edges also. They have certain technological advantages. And in fact, they are among the leading two EPC suppliers also. So I think all these things makes Suzlon a clear leader in the space in which it is right now. And we have an industry tailwind also, which will be acting in favor of Suzlon going ahead. So I think one should remain invested in the counter because the company has shown turnaround in their financial performance also. So looking after all these factors, we are still positive on the counter and advising hold on this counter with a price target of 53 to 55 at the initial levels.
Okay, so would you recommend exiting once you hit those targets?
I think, yes, if a partial profit booking is advisable because we really need to see how the company is performing. So we are really waiting for Q1 FY25 results also. So in that light, partial profit booking is advisable, but the full review can be taken after seeing the Q1 results of FY25.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, on the technicals, Rajat, how would you approach Suzlon?
See, when we go by technicals, I would say for a long-term investor, we try to find out a moving average that has not been violated. During its journey, say for the last 1 year, if you used 20-day or 50-day moving averages, a number of times you would have been exited from the stock. But if you held on to, say, that is the 200-day exponential moving average, being a long-term investor, then you need not go out because it has never been violated. Currently, it is at 37.65. So if this stop loss is too far down, then the closest stop loss that can be given, that is the 40 mark. If it falls below that, only then exit. Otherwise, had it been a short-term player, I would have said 44.50 should be the stop loss.
Okay, all right. Let's get in another query now. We have KS Rao, who writes to us from Andhra Pradesh, holds 300 shares of South Indian Bank, which he's bought at around 23 odd rupees. He wants to know the prospects of the company and whether he can hold on to these shares for one more year. So South Indian Bank, he's sitting on a profit at this point in time. Buy price was around 23. Rajat, any targets on this one?
Well, Ekta, it is very range bound. Even on a day when banks are roaring, this stock is just about managed to get past the 50-day moving average. It touched the upper Bollinger Band around, say, 20. In today's session, the high is about 28.68. So I really don't think that one should stay put in this. But if one were to stay put a stop loss below 25, because 26 is your 200-day moving average. And if there were to be any kind of an upsurge and it fails to take out 32, one should book profits there. But I do not put much value in keeping South Bank or South India Bank for long term. Much better. There are much better candidates. Even I would say IDFC First would have been a better choice.
Okay, IDFC First would have been a better choice over South Indian Bank. Well, let's get in another query. In fact, let's get a fundamental view on South Indian Bank. Astha, what would your recommendation be on that? Would you also have a preference in terms of other banks like Rajat does on the technicals, but you on the fundamentals?
So here I would like to answer Rajat sir's query that why this bank is not performing when whole, banking bunch is soaring right now, because the Q4 results performance was not strong. In fact, they have shown the muted performance on the profitability front, and whatever profit they have shown, that is just due to the provisions. Otherwise, net interest income as well as treasury income was lower in the Q4. So might be the muted financial performance is what market is not liking, and they are seeing not a very strong performance from this counter. But now going ahead, what is a real focus point is that I think some of their stress related issue related to the asset quality is now, they were the legacy issues and they are now resolved. So, and their asset quality has shown a strong improvement. So I think that will be the key focus point of the company and bank, and the bank will be able to maintain the ROA of around 1%. This is what we believe. So just on the basis of those beliefs, we are recommending hold on this counter. Although the financial performance was not very supportive, but it will be supportive in the Q1 of FY25. So on that basis, hold is recommended from our side with the price target of 32 to 34 at the initial levels.
Okay, all right. Well, now we have Sarvana Kumar, who writes to us from Chennai, holds 1100 shares of GK Paper, which is bought at 410, short-term trader, and wants to know what to do with these at these current levels. Rajat, over to you on this one.
The biggest problem in case of JK Paper is that even on a short-term basis, it has moved up very fast. And now what happened is that there is some profit booking that is happening. If it were to fall below, say, 460, then it will violate the 9-day exponential moving average. If that happens, then only you can get out of it. Otherwise, put a money stop, and that money stop can be at 480. But only today it is showing some kind of weakness. Otherwise, so far it has been roaring right from the levels of 380 or so. So if one has got into this in around those levels of around, say, 400 or 380, one can book part profits that way.
Okay, book part profits. What about you, Astha? JK Paper?
So we are recommending hold on this counter given the scale of operations this company is enjoying, given the operating profit margin, which are much better than its peer, and a healthy market share in the key paper segment. These all are basic fundamentals, which are really the driving factors for this counter, and we are seeing that it has shown a strong rise. Going ahead, what we want to really see in their Q1 of FY25, that how the debt will be repaid. So we really need to see that, and how they will be able to maintain their margins and market share. So I think there is no harm in keeping a hold on the stock till the time results come. So recommending a hold. If everything goes well, then I think price target of 550 to 560 can be attributed to this counter.
Okay, all right. Over 500 odd rupees in terms of a target, almost there. But Madhu Baliga now writes to us from Pune. She holds 100 shares of Power Grid, which she's bought at 189. She's a long-term investor, wants to know the future prospects of her investments. So she's asking about what she should do with her investments in Power Grid. She's currently sitting on a profit at this point in time. Rajat, do you think that there's more to go when it comes to the technicals?
What I would say here is that the rise in Power Grid has been parabolic, and during the 2 weeks back, the election results week, we saw huge volatility in this. So once you see such huge volatility, you will see some kind of consolidation. And in this consolidation, it should not fall below 300. That should be used as a stop loss. And on the upside, if the that all-time high of Power Grid is not crossed, that is around 348. If that is not crossed, then one should think of booking profits.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Astha, Power Grid?
Looking strong to us, recommending a hold on this counter with the ultimate price target of 350 to 360. Now talking about this counter, they have a strong project pipeline of around 86,700 crore. And in fact, they have given a strong capex guideline also, that is by 2032. So I think that is a very strong of around 207,000 crore. So if such a strong guidance is there for the capex, then it will be definitely giving a strong revenue visibility, and it is looking a good long-term bet. So looking after all these, we are recommending a hold for the long-term purpose, although our initial price target is around 350 to 360.
Okay, all right. So that's on Power Grid, but we need to take a short break with the news that we have the Bank Nifty, which is really surging. So up around 2.2% currently for the Bank Nifty. We have the mid-cap index, which is under pressure, so down around 0.6%, with the advanced decline ratio a bit sluggish. Take a break, but a lot more queries lined up on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Your Stocks. We have with us Rajat as well as Astha to answer all of your queries. Well, let's get in another question now. We have Rajat, who writes to us from Tamil Nadu. He holds 4 shares of LIC, which he's bought at 530. He's asking when he should buy more shares. Well, Rajat, since it's your namesake, I'm going to start by asking you this query. Do you think that 1033 is a good level to get into for LIC? And if so, what would you recommend in terms of a stop loss and target price?
Yeah, I would say that the stop loss should be below 950 if it is an investment. And on the upside, immediately we need to see that whether it takes out the range of, say, around 1080 or so. If it crosses 1080, then the next target will be 1150, and thereafter it might even go up to 1175. Beyond that, it will be a blue sky territory. Let's hope that LIC goes to those levels.
Okay, all right. And what about you?
Goldilocks must.
Okay, all right. What about you, Asta? What's your recommendation?
So I think buying on dip strategy can be applied to this counter because first of all, we are positive on this counter for the price target of 1175. Now talking about this counter, BNB margins have really shown a strong improvement. And what we are seeing, that company has introduced 6 new products in the non-par segment. So I mean, the company has now started really focusing on this segment, which is a very strong financial driver for the company. So I think, and they have a leading market position also. And we are expecting a strong APA CAGR to grow at around 11% going ahead. So if I mix all these factors, then it really indicates that the company has still room to show more upside. And that's why we are positive on the counter, recommending buying on dip as well as hold with a price target of 1175.
Okay, all right. Price target of 1100 is what you said.
1170, yeah. Long-term price
1170.
target.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, we have Sonam who writes to us from Chennai. She holds 3 shares of Paytm, which she's bought at 500. She wants to know the future prospects of these new age stocks. Well, it's been a roller coaster ride really for Paytm. From a fundamental perspective, what would you recommend on this one, Asta?
So I recommend book partial profit in the Paytm because the cost price is here lower, which I understand. So I'm recommending booking partial profit, although with the Zomato now coming into the scene. So we really need to see how this deal will happen because the deal is around $12 billion to 15 billion, and that will really help Zomato. And in fact, if we talk about Paytm also, I think that will really help the Paytm in getting some sort of, in showing some sort of more strong financial performance because now they can spend more on their marketing. So if they'll get all these amount. So I think it's a long-term story. We really need to see certain things, how the events will take place. But here, since she's making profit, so I think it's better to book partial profit and remain invested partially.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Rajat, Paytm?
When I talk about Paytm, I must disclose that I'm a shareholder of Zomato, which is bidding for a part of this company, the cinema ticketing app of Paytm. Having said that, I'm not giving any buy or sell recommendation on Zomato, but regarding Paytm, I would agree with Asta that part profit booking might be done here. And if it manages to get past, say, 430 or so, then there would be some kind of an upside. But coming close to 425 to about 430, you can expect some selling pressure because it is finding it difficult to actually take out those levels.
Okay, all right. Any other, Rajat, any other new age or newly listed stocks within this new business category that you would recommend, technically?
I would, then I have to say that, I would prefer Zomato because I've studied Zomato both fundamentally as well as technically. You can get into that. But otherwise, these new age companies, I'm slightly wary of because I prefer high return on capital companies. And generally, those companies are pretty old. Like, for instance, I like Nestle. So new age companies are not for me, a senior citizen.
Okay, all right. Well, you'd go back into the older kind of companies, and Nestle is probably one of the picks that you have within that space. Is that correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right. Well, Asta, do you share the same view? Maybe you're more towards the older companies, older models of businesses?
So they are evergreen. But in case of new age technology businesses, in fact, even I agree with Rajat sir, Zomato is looking very strong to us. And we are recommending buy. So if not, Rajat sir, I can give the price target for this counter. So we are recommending buy on Zomato. We are liking the business model, the financial performance, the new deal which is going on. Everything is looking very positive for this company. Recommending a buy with a price target of 230.
Okay, all right. Well, we have Rahul now who writes to us from Mumbai. He holds 150 shares of Industar at 212, wants to sell the shares and asks whether he should sell or stay invested. Well, in the news, Asta, you go for this one.
Yes, in the news, and I think right now, because now the stick sale is going on, definitely that will create some sort of a negative impact on the stock price momentum. But if I talk about the fundamentals of this company, their capex is really very elevated, and now they are talking about the rural expansion, more 5G rollout. So purely on the fundamentals of the Indus Tower, we are positive on this counter, but one really need to keep patience because our price target is little higher, which is around 350 to 370. But these are all the long-term price target because right now the kind of news is going on and kind of stick sale is going on. Definitely the stock prices will be in the lower territory. So if anyone has a medium to long-term horizon, then definitely they should remain invested in the counter with a price target of 350 to 370.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Rajat, on Industars?
I think the huge volume that you see in the NSE, well, that is roughly 805 million, 80 crore shares have been traded today. That is primarily, I think, because of Vodafone PLC, that is Vodafone, that is listed in London. They are selling off their 10% stake. Probably that is the reason why this kind of a huge volume has come in. But despite the fact that one of the erstwhile promoters is getting out of it, it is maintaining itself steady above the 50-day moving average. So I would also put a hold on this, and any immediate target would be say about 360 once it starts moving up. And once it goes beyond 375, we can think of new targets. But it's a hold.
Okay, it's a hold. Industars is a hold. Well, on that note, we need to wrap up on the show with the news that we have the Bank Nifty, which is up around 2.5% at the high point of the day. We have the mid-cap index, which is 0.5% lower at this point. The advanced decline ratio, however, has improved as the day has progressed. So let's see whether that sees any kind of further improvement. For the Nifty, up around 40-odd points. Positive consolidation is what we're seeing on the frontline indices. But do remember to email us all of your questions. We'll address them with our experts. Stay tuned. Closing bell up next.